3.9%. That's how much WTI just spiked overnight as U.S. Iran strikes resumed and Israel pushed deeper into Lebanon. Good morning. Markets open in 45 minutes. Here's everything you need to know. This is the Financial Brief. We've been tracking the U.S. Iran situation all week, and overnight it got worse. Fresh strikes between Washington and Tehran near the Strait of Hormuz, combined with Israel ordering troops deeper into southern Lebanon against Hezbollah, sent oil surging. CNBC reported Brent crude jumping 3.3% to $94.10 a barrel. Here's what matters. Last week, both contracts fell roughly 10% on ceasefire hopes. Those hopes just evaporated. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu called the capture of Beaufort Castle in southern Lebanon a decisive shift. European officials condemned the escalation. And the question you're asking is simple. Does this keep going? For the broader tape, S&P futures are essentially flat, up less than 0.1%. Nasdaq futures are down about 0.25%. The Dow is the outlier, up roughly 0.33%, which tells you money is rotating defensive. The 10-year Treasury yield sits at 4.45%, barely changed. The dollar index is flat at 99. Gold is steady above 4,500. Asia was green overnight, the Nikkei up nearly 1%, Hang Seng up the same. Europe is mixed, the DAX up 0.5%, FTSE slightly red. But make no mistake, oil is the story driving everything this morning. Turning to the biggest corporate headline before the bell. Berkshire Hathaway just agreed to buy home builder Taylor Morrison for $6.8 billion, $72.50 per share in cash, a 24% premium to Friday's close. Taylor Morrison shares popped 22% in pre-market. Berkshire Class B shares dipped slightly. But here's what makes this more interesting than a standard acquisition. According to early reports, this is one of Greg Abel's first major deals since taking the helm as CEO, and it signals something specific. Berkshire is betting the U.S. housing downturn is at or near its bottom. Abel called it a best-in-class national home builder and said they plan to unify Berkshire's site-built home building operations into one combined platform. Now, you're probably thinking $6.8 billion is a big number. For Berkshire, it's a rounding error. They're sitting on nearly $400 billion in cash. The real signal isn't the size, it's the sector. Berkshire is telling you they see value in housing when most investors have written it off. If you hold a broad market index or any housing-adjacent ETFs, this deal is a confidence vote on the U.S. consumer's ability to keep buying homes, even with rates above 4%. That's a contrarian call worth watching. And here's your watch list for the session, because there's a bigger market story developing underneath today's headlines. CNBC reported that the S&P 500 closed at a record on the last trading day of May, but only 20 stocks in the index hit their own all-time highs. The last time that happened? March 2000, the top of the dot-com bubble. The names driving this rally are almost entirely AI-related. AMD soared 50% in May. Micron jumped 85%. SK Hynix surged 81%. Samsung gained 43%. The Nasdaq Composite jumped 25% in April and May combined, its best two-month stretch in over 25 years. So here's the tension for today's session. You've got geopolitical risk repricing oil higher, Berkshire making a defensive housing bet, and a market that just hit a record on the backs of fewer than 24 stocks. The VIX is up nearly 3% this morning to 15.78. That's not panic, but it's the fear gauge waking up. For your calendar today, it's the first trading day of June. Watch for ISM manufacturing data and any Fed commentary on the Iran situation. If you hold a tech-heavy portfolio, that narrow breadth number should be on your radar all week. 3 stories, 3 signals: oil, housing, and a market breadth warning. Stay ahead every morning. Subscribe to the Financial Brief. This has been the Financial Brief.